Hi, my name's Brendan. I work on projects all over Australia, whether that be Canberra, Sydney, Brisbane, Melbourne, Adelaide, Perth, or even up at Darwin. I've worked on projects all over the country. One of the most iconic projects that I've worked on is Queen's Wharf, which actually relocated me up to Brisbane for several years. This project will transform the heart of Brisbane into something amazing when it's complete. On the side, a couple of years ago, I decided to create a YouTube channel to help both the engineering community and also for me to improve my presentation and communication skills. And over time, it's grown to 30,000 subscribers. So hopefully it's helping me improve my skills and also the engineering community as a whole. I would argue that communication skills is one of your most important skills as an engineer, but it's often overlooked. And something that everyone should be working on, doesn't matter whether you're a graduate or all the way up to director level. It's something that we can all improve on. Not only will that help you just in your career, so it'll help you progress your career faster, it will also help you get new clients and people who enjoy working with you, which will make projects a lot easier. If you look in YouTube at the moment, there's not many people in the space, especially providing good quality engineering advice, especially from point of view that someone's quite experienced. So if you're looking, there's some younger guys in there giving some advice out. There's some guys that are providing really the technical side in a lot of detail, but there's no one providing that intermediate side. So you're saying, how do you apply your technical skills plus your experience and bring that into a real design? Because that's something that requires a lot of time and in a lot of effort to get there. And it's really just a culmination of continuous learning to try and get there. And yeah, I think a lot of people that have got to probably my level of experience are doing a lot of other things. Everyone's really busy. I'm flat out at work as well, but I think it's definitely beneficial to the industry to help the up and coming engineers for knowledge that's highly valuable to them. I didn't realize going through a lot of content and doing a lot of research how little there was out there, so it's always good to add more and more to the engineering profession to help grow everyone. So anyone that's thinking about doing it, definitely jump in. When we're going through content and going, will I have something to present every week? And especially just in structural engineering itself, how broad a topic it is and how much content you actually have to present on. When you really break it down, there is so much to learn, and you realize that, you know, through your career, you've got so much information that you need to pick up on. So I learn a lot, even if people don't watch it, I learn a lot through creating the content. It's helped quite a lot, especially my communication skills. I think even before I started the YouTube channel, I didn't realize how valuable they were, and that's actually helped my communication skills, my speaking skills. Especially when I listen back to some of my videos, or even my old ones, I cringe about what I was saying. And then just listening back, you realize about how you're talking, about the speed you're talking, and the type of language that you're using. So it's really useful for anyone that wants to communicate. Record yourself, even if you're not going to use it on a YouTube video. At least you can listen back and see how you're actually physically presenting yourself, which will be highly beneficial. Always keep learning. Like it's for engineering, you realize there's so much to learn. A lot of people think they've finished university, we don't need to learn a lot. You barely know anything when you've graduated uni. They've only really taught you how to think about it or how to analyze a structure, where designing a whole building is a completely different skill set that they haven't even approached or taught you how to do. And that's where you learn into the industry about how you put a building together. Even when you're coming up through your career, even up to my level, I'm still learning now, but also challenge everything that you know, because sometimes you may have had some idea about, you think this is the answer, but for whatever reason, you need to challenge that idea to make sure that that is actually true, because sometimes people approach from the point of trying to prove what you know instead of disprove what you know. So trying to flip that on the heads and trying to sometimes even disprove what you know to try and challenge your understanding, because it's always good to have a better understanding than just trying to go, no, I'm always correct. There's obviously a big learning curve at the start. Yeah, just like really hitting a record is probably one of the biggest ones. There's a lot of other, like YouTube and other resources out there that can help you with that. You don't need the fancy camera equipment. I started on a phone recording my videos. Editing software, there is a really cheap editing software that's free called DaVinci Resolve that pretty much does 99% of what you do, and keep your content a little bit varied. So try between, you know, career advice, technical advice. Also trying to make sure you're aiming for a broader range as possible, because a lot of stuff with engineering, although you could focus purely on the Australian market, you could actually be more global. By aiming for a bigger market, you can get as bigger audience as possible for your content. For engineering wise, there's not a lot in the industry, so technically I go to things like computer science and stuff to see what type of videos was enjoyable there, or other areas like you know, in medical or stuff, to see what type of content actually did well there, so you can see if there's some crossovers that you can do similar to there. So it's really trying to think about the audience that you've got and then what would benefit them the most.